Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go.
Real time, real time, real time, real time, real time, real time, Prince Blue. Real time, real time, real time, real time, real time, real time, Prince Blue. Talk that, talk that, talk that, coach, coach, talk that, talk that, talk that, coach, coach, talking entertainment too. Look, we are not the same as you. Look, we don't need a thing, just you. Just making sure the gang come through.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? What is up? It is Real Time with Prince Blue. I am your host, Prince Blue. And no, you're not hearing things. You're not seeing things. No, it's not Wednesday. It's not even Thursday. No, it's not even Friday. It is Tuesday. And y'all know if I'm doing something that is against the schedule, then something pissed me off. And you know, there's only three things that can piss me off. That's somebody messing with my family, somebody touching my food, and somebody saying something about my quarterback, Jalen Hurts. So this is a special episode. I got a special guest with me. For those who don't know, this kind of a throwback. Me and this guy go way back. We did a couple podcasts a couple times back in the past, and we even did, AJ, you're gonna love this. We even did a Usher versus Chris Brown battle. So actually, the one I did with you was 2.0. But except in this one, I won. Marcus gonna probably say I lost, but I won. And everybody, please give a warm welcome to Marques Bradham, aka Marcus B. Tweeting. What's going on, Marcus?
Man, you know it has to be special to bring me out of retirement. So it's been 2 years. So 24 months. So it had to be a big deal. But I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm excited.
I needed a big gun for this because you and I, we've been on the Jalen Hurts train for a long time, man. We going back when he first was drafted, we was trying to figure out why so many people, why they had it out for this guy. What was it? What was the problem? Well, for those who have been living under rock, ESPN, courtesy of not, I don't want to say Chris Fowler because that's his dad, Jeremy Fowler, did an awesome job where he went around and he polled pause. He took analysis from players, coaches. No, actually it was coaches, execs, scouts, and he ranked the top 10 quarterbacks, and his list has set up a storm because I'm about to put the list up right now based on where people were ranked, who was on the list, and where they were positioned, and it brought up a storm. I'm gonna bring it up right now. There we go, right there. There it is, right there. So let's just get right into it, Marcus. First of all, who got ranked too high?
That's easy for me. Okay, let's start the obvious. If you want to say Patrick Mahomes is one, I'm not going to have too much pushback on that. I think that it is reputation based. I think he had a good year last year, not I would say a Patrick Mahomes type of year, but a really good year. And Patrick Mahomes has been dominant for years now, almost a decade. So I understand that. Josh Allen is elite. I get that also. But we get to the bottom of this list here. I want to start with the obvious of Justin Herbert and Jared Goff. Let's start
Okay.
right. Justin Herbert, I think, is a guy that's really talented. Obviously, he's super talented. Everyone loves his arm strength. Everybody loves, the potential of Justin Herbert and what he could possibly be. However, the guy's been in the league long enough now where I feel like we should be seeing those fruits, and we haven't. The last time he was in the playoffs, the guy blew a 24-point lead. Pack him up.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Goff, come on, man. Jared Goff had lost a home playoff game as a number one seed. Jared Goff is a guy who you want to talk. Everyone wants to call Jalen Hurts a system quarterback. Then what is Jared Goff? Jared Goff to me is a byproduct of how good that Detroit system is and how good their offensive philosophy is. What is Jared Goff without play action? People want to talk about Jalen Hurts. What is he, without a running game? What is he without? What about Jared Goff? What is he without a play action game? And also too, you saw how he performed in a big game, and you get to Jalen Hurts. This is what drives me crazy about the way people feel about him is it's a question. Do you want your best player, your quarterback, to perform well in the biggest games of the season? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So if that's a yes, which it should be from everybody, why would you not want Jalen Hurts to be your starting quarterback? Why would you not? I'm gonna keep going. I mean, the Jaden Daniels thing. I think it's way too early to put Jaden Daniels as the fifth best quarterback in the NFL. He had a great season, a great rookie year, but we know how this goes. Sophomore jinx is a real thing. It happened to Stroud down in Houston, and it's probably going to happen to Jaden Daniels too. This is going to be controversial, but I'm just going to put it out there because, hey, we're not here to make friends. We're here to make opinions, right? Lamar Jackson, to me, is a guy, I get it. He has done so much. MVP, all-world talented, definitely become a way better passer. I used to always say about him, the reason why the guy doesn't win because he got to be a better passer and runner. He wasn't that. I think it's Lamar Jackson still has not won a big game. He has not been great in the playoffs historically. Now, this year was not his fault. Obviously, the drop passes in the game. However, still not won a big game. So for me, Daniels is out. Lamar, I don't put Lamar over Jalen Hurts. Jared Goff is ridiculous up here. Just Matthew Stafford, I think, is questionable too. Baker Mayfield, come on. I mean, that's like, how did Baker Mayfield right now? I don't understand that either. But for me, the Goff and Herbert are my biggest issues, and Lamar and Jaden Daniels.
So, well, this is where we're going to disagree already. The top four, I have no issues with the top four whatsoever because you're talking about the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL, arguably, and it depends on what your flavor is. Now, number one, the king is always Patrick. Even after that ass whooping, Patrick is not getting unseated from number one. I'm just sorry.
1,000%.
That the dude he's done too much. He still can do too much, and he's just arguably this generation's best quarterback. And he was knocking on the GOAT. Remember they was putting him in the GOAT conversation stuff. Definitely if he would have got this 3-peat. My issue is Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Because I think it's an overcorrection. People are so excited that whatever they and we're going to get into a little bit later also, whatever their pre-draft analysis is, they're so excited that they hit. So of course scouts are going to big it up, coaches are going to big it up, and he's a hybrid of what you want today. Young, mobile, lively arm, clutch factor. He's not going to kill your franchise with his moods, with his attitude, how he carries himself. So I get it. He's I understand why he's up there. My issue is Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, and Matthew Stafford. And I'm gonna tell you why. Matthew Stafford, I feel like this is like a what you want to say. This is a what you want to say. This is a career reward right here.
Yeah.
Yes, he was still good last year, but I promise you, and I said this, and I'm gonna stand by it. If Jalen Hurts was on the Rams and they played in that snow game, they wouldn't have lost. And I say they wouldn't have lost not because of his arm, because Jalen, just what he can do when conditions are not perfect, you can't teach it. You just can't teach it. When Jalen Carter was barreling down on Matthew Stafford, I want to believe that Jalen Hurts, his instinct would have been like, this big man Majama is coming. Let me run to the side. Let me run around. Let me do something. So that's what I have an issue with, but I understand why he's there. Justin Herbert, I'm going to go to this right here. I'm going to go to this right here.
Yep. Yeah.
Marcus. Yep. And this is where we also going to get into it in our second segment. This is my problem right here.
Yeah.
We always complain. We make fun of Dak Prescott all the time. In the big moments, he doesn't come through.
Yep.
But he fills up the stat sheet. We call him garbage Dak, garbage time Dak. But for some reason, when it comes to this 6'5" white man,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, but look at the talent around Jalen Hurts. Look at this. So Jalen Hurts is going to get punished. Because Howie Roseman is the best GM in sports. That's what I don't get. So Justin Herbert is definitely too high for me. That's the problem I have. And I'm zeroing in on him because this is his favorite. And to quote Ocho, Emmanuel Acho, he's a social media quarterback.
Yeah.
If you was an alien and you was looking down and you was like, hey, what's a quarterback? If you showed them a picture of Justin Herbert, I have no issue with that. He's the prototype. He's what you want.
Yeah.
But when you look at the substance in the big games where it mattered the most, the guy choked like hell. He choked like a OF model that's charging $1.99. He just choked. He choked something serious.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah, I think with Herbert and like people who follow the game for the past 20 years are going to get where I'm going with this. Justin Herbert's career projection right now, as we stop right here and free is, he to me is this generation's Jay Cutler. And the reason why I say that is because what did everyone love about Jay Cutler? Love his arm strength. Oh my gosh, he could throw the ball so far. He's so accurate. He's so much talent. I remember Phil Simms at one point said Jay Cutler is the most talented quarterback in the NFL.
I remember that. He got a lot of crap for that.
Yeah, and like, a lot of people were in love with Jay Cutler for a long period of time, and it kind of is going to jump into my next point. But I'm going to stick here for a second. They're very comparable because you see the skill set, right? You just mentioned it. If you could build a quarterback, you wouldn't build Jalen Hurts. You would build Justin Herbert. He looks like the quarterback you would want behind you. He's under like that Peyton Manning build. The big tall quarterback that the strong arm. I get it, but however, he has not delivered when it counts the most, and Jalen Hurts has. But if I go to my next point, where I really think this all comes from is, and I know this wasn't a media thing per se, it was scouts and GMs, but it all kind of to me kind of gets in the same pot. I think people just have a hard time, especially in sports media and on these people that are supposed to know better than everyone else, of just saying, you know what, I was wrong. I was wrong. And I will listen, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. Jalen Hurts after 2021, I went on my former podcast, Bradham Emery, after that first Tampa Bay loss, and I said, and I'm going to quote myself, what do you guys see from this quarterback do you think he can improve on from a football standpoint?
I remember that.
I said that, and I was adamant that I felt that this was not going to work. I did not think that. I always said about Jalen Hurts, he has the intangibles. I don't think he has the tangibles. I love his leadership. I love his presence. I love everything about him. I love everything he says. I love all of it. On the field, I just did not see him getting better. And that was ugly. Listen, that Tampa Bay game was ugly. Todd Bowles, they basically said, he can't go left.
They de-pantsed him. Yeah.
Yeah, they literally were laughing at him on the sidelines about how easy it was to
He can't read.
Right, exactly. All of those things, but then guess what? 2022 happened. And I am never a person that's afraid. And this is where I think people need to get better and grow. I am never a person that's afraid to say, you know what? I was wrong. And I was happy to be wrong. Because guess what? I'm an Eagles fan. So I want the success. I was rooting for Jalen Hurts' success. I want that success to be the Eagles' success. So all of that, I think, is a problem. And just the idea of, like, I think Jalen Hurts, unfortunately for Eagles fans, has become that popular guy to go after because it clicks. And, listen, better. Like I do. What is sports media now at this point? It's all about getting
hot takes, clicks, rage bait.
It's exactly. They want to get reaction. And why do you think they go after Philly athletes so much? Because Philly people get upset, and Philly people are active on X. They're active
Oh,
on
we are.
yeah. So like they know if they go after Philly, they're gonna get those engagements, and that's what they want. So Jalen Hurts has become a lightning rod for all of that, and that's where I think really this conversation really is about is a lot of people just afraid to be wrong and just the idea of hey, this is what sports media is in 2025.
You know what? That's a great segue since we already said who we had an issue with. So we had an issue with Daniels, Herbert, Goff in
Yes,
front of Jalen. Am I correct?
yes, I think 5 is fair, even though
Yes.
beating everybody in the top 4.
He's beating everybody in that top
And
four.
honestly, he's one bad play away from beating Patrick Mahomes 3 times and being a
Mm-hmm.
two-time Super Bowl MVP,
Mm-hmm.
which makes this even more ridiculous that we have this.
Yeah. So that leads me into the next segment, which is what's the real problem with Jalen Hurts? And this is what I honestly think is wrong with Jalen Hurts. And you hit it on the head, Marcus. You got these scouts, you got draft people who literally they're stuck on what their pre-draft notions were, and they just want to be right. They just can't escape it because they got the great white hypes up there and the Joe Burrow and the Josh Allen and stuff like that. Those are those golden boys. Those are people that got the media behind them. You know, they're in commercials. They're doing all this, and these people they just want that. You got Jalen Hurts, who's they say he's 6'1". Okay, I'll give you that. You know, short, compact, put together, great athlete, great looking dude, says all the right things, does all the right things. He won't torpedo. Is he robotic at the I wouldn't say he's robotic. He's not going to give you something to run with. And he's very meticulous in what he say. He's very deliberate. So when it comes to what I think the real problem with Jalen Hurts is, again, it goes back to there's a prototype when it comes to the quarterback. And football heads, white people, white scouts, white teams, white owners, there's just a certain thing that they've been programmed to believe that a quarterback should look like.
Right.
That's why you have people that are less successful than Jalen Hurts still being put up there because again, Josh Allen, 6'5", strong, bull, rocket. Matthew Stafford, 6'3", strong, bull, rocket. Justin Herbert, 6'5", strong, bull, rocket. And the reason why the Patrick's is up there because Patrick's just so damn good and dynamic. You can't even make that argument with him.
Right.
You just can't. You don't care that he's not 6'5". And Lamar is just an athletic freak that is like if you but even then in the playoffs, what do we see with Lamar? When they make him be a quarterback, shit goes wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I think is the real problem with Jalen Hurts. He's not the prototype. And instead of people just saying that, they go into other things. Well, he has a ready-made team. We'll put Justin Herbert on the Eagles and he will win. Blah, blah, blah. They come up with all these if scenarios, but they rarely talk about what's on the field. Like I had a guy, and then I'm gonna let you go. I had a guy literally on TikTok tell me the reason why Jalen Hurts shouldn't be in the top 10 and because he needs to get better at pre-reads. He needs to win a game when they stop Saquon Barkley. And I said, what did they do in the Super Bowl? What was the Chiefs plan? And this is what he responded with. He said the Eagles won with their defense. It wasn't because of Jalen Hurts. You see what I'm saying? You can't argue with these people because they just want to be right about Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. And that was where I was going next. Is like as I get older, I have learned. There's some things I'm not gonna let my blood pressure rise for. I have tired the MJ LeBron debate. I'm now to the point. It's gotten so bad. I have a folder in my phone ready, clips ready for the MJ LeBron debate because it's gotten so bad. But like, I've also gotten to the point now where I'm like, you know what? I'm good. Like you got that one. That's your go. Go ahead, you got that one. And it's kind of like that with this, where people like that, like you just said, they're not in search of the truth. They're in search of being right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's about, because you can't look at that game. And yeah, the defense, they played out of their mind. They played great, forced some turnovers, 1,000%. But points still had to be scored. And,
Mm-hmm.
I still remember a dot to Dotson. I still remember a dot to Smith. I still remember a crossing route to A.J. Brown. I still remembering the managing of the game. How cool, Jalen Hurts, like I said in the beginning, going back to my original point with him, he's just so good in high pressure situations. All the time. You can count on his death, taxes, Jalen Hurts, and clutch moments. He's going to perform well. And that's something we always say, right? We want a big game player, a guy who performs well in big moments. That's, crossing over, that's kind of been the critique of Joel Embiid, is as great as he's been, he has not been great in big moments. Bryce Harper, a guy who's performed really well in big moments, who's had amazing playoff runs when we're here. We crave that. We love those guys. And I know here locally, there are a lot of people like myself who a couple years ago was not on the Jalen Hurts bandwagon. We have all rallied and galvanized. We're here. We get it. Nationally, they're just not going to get it. And honestly, they just don't want to get it. And you can't force people to get something they don't want to get. And
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think, for me, and maybe I'm wrong here, I don't think there's anything that Jalen Hurts can do from now for the next 5 years that will change the narrative about who he is. I think people are always going to have this perception of him. I think he could go to, next 5 years, he goes to 2 more Super Bowls and wins 1, gets another MVP. There's going to be something said about that. I think people are just stuck in who they want him to be, and they're holding him to that. This is who we want you to be. This is who we thought you were. This is who we thought you were going to be. So we're not going to acknowledge who you actually are and who you have become, because he has become this. 21 to 22, that jump he took was remarkable. If he didn't mess up his shoulder at the end of that season in that Chicago game, he's the MVP of the league. He's
Mm-hmm.
the league. He's a shoulder injury away from being the MVP of the league. And that doesn't happen by accident. What is the MVP? You were saying in that year, this is the best player in football. That's what you're saying. So if we're having that conversation, how can we turn around and say that this guy is not a top 5 quarterback in the NFL? It's absurd. It doesn't make sense. Both of these things can't be true. If he's having all these accolades, all the success, both of these things can't possibly be true.
And it's funny, like they it's this thing where they say Jalen is on a super team, but he's always on a super team when it comes time to rank him.
Right.
Right. But when he's in the big moments, it's like people are very helter skelter when it comes to Jalen Hurts. And it's weird because they make up all the excuses for Justin Herbert. They make all the excuses for a Josh Allen, a Joe Burrow. And Jalen Hurts, when he's went up against all of them, he's beat them. He's beat them all. And he's beat them in big moments. He's beat them when it counts the most. And I think that's why Jalen is Brady-esque when it comes to this. If you ask Tom Brady, what he thinks about the most in football, he'll tell you those three Super Bowl losses. You saw, that's why I love when they played the clip where Jalen, he was literally telling Sirianni, he was like, yo, we need to score more. He was like, you sure? I really think that last Super Bowl broke him. He's broken. He's like, he will never be healed again because of that Super Bowl, because he played that well and he still feel like he could have did more. And that's the person you want in charge of your team. You don't want a person where the media is then going to go out there and be like, well, he didn't have top receivers. He didn't have this. He didn't have that. And it was wild. It was wild. And I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I probably never will. But we gonna ride for Jalen Hurts because this is ridiculous. And then you got people saying that they would put a guy that had a 1 year, that Jalen Hurts and his Eagles, his team went and stomped them 55-23 or whatever the other score was.
Yeah, no,
And it was in garbage time.
Yep.
Like, it's levels to this. And Jalen Hurts proves it every single time he steps on that field when he plays the quote unquote greats. This is what he reminds me. This is where I'll put him and Embiid in the same tier. Embiid can be having the worst games when it's time to play Jokic, when it's time to play any center that you want to put above him.
Yep.
Dude, he's like, nah. He reminds you every single time.
Remember what he did to Wemby's rookie year. He put 70 on him. Put 70 on that. And yeah, you're right. He does. And, obviously, stuff with him, I think, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole. I think he's also gets too much hate also, but whatever with that. But, yeah, I think what I love about Jalen Hurts, I bet you if you sat Jalen Hurts down and had a conversation with him over a beer, and you're like, Jalen, in 2022, why do you think you guys lost that Super Bowl? He's not mentioning James Bradbury. He's saying, yo, I fumbled. That's why we lost. And I bet you he thinks about that all the time. That one, because he called out of control that game. He was unbelievable. It was that one blemish, ball slipped out of his hands, whatever. That's 6 points right there. I bet he's lost sleep over that for years. And that's what you want from your star. That's what you want. You want a guy who takes that, fuels it, and uses energy to destroy. And that's where he was at. He heard all the way 23 ended, all the hate he got after that. And then goes into 24 and says, you know what? I'm going to use that as fuel to make sure we get to this moment and that doesn't happen again. And that's what he's done. I mean, and for me, like, I can't at this point now, it's so wild to be saying this because, like, I could have never pictured myself saying stuff almost 5 years ago, but I can't say enough good things about him.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what you want your franchise to be represented by. He's a pillar of the community. Like, he cares about his teammates. He's a leader amongst men. Like, he's a big, like, we in Philly have clamored for that big performance guy, and we got him. He's here.
I'm never nervous when I go into a game with Jalen Hurts as a quarterback.
Never have to worry about Jalen shit in the bed, ever. He is locked in the biggest moments at all time. Because what he's going to do? Keep the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's real.
That is real. And speaking of MJ and LeBron talks, look at this. Now, Marcus, you and I know that this man don't surround himself.
Oh, he don't.
With nobody that's not greatness.
Never. You're not going.
He may be a terrible GM.
Yeah. Yeah, facts.
But when it comes to athletes and having winners around him, he doesn't play no games.
He really don't. He really don't.
People don't know that Jordan Brand, he's very particular on who he picks to be in his company.
Yeah, for sure. No, 1,000%. And you ain't going to see a picture of that with Jordan and LeBron. You ain't going to see that picture anywhere.
No, it's not. It's not.
And you hit the nail on the head. Is that, like, getting a look like that speaks volumes in itself. Is game recognized game. Game recognized game is really that simple. And I think what MJ appreciates about Jalen Hurts is, again, that mentality of, yo, I am more upset about the losses than I am happy about the wins.
Mm-hmm.
That was MJ, right? That's how MJ looked at things. MJ took everything personal, and that's Jalen Hurts. What was his screensaver for almost 2 years? What was
the confetti coming down on him at the Super Bowl loss?
Confetti coming out of the Super Bowl loss. 2 years, he looked at that. Think about how diabolical that is. He looked at that every day. Like, we're talking about, he's waking up in the middle of the night, got a text, you got to look at that. He going to brush his teeth back, got to look at that. He taking a shit on the toilet, got to look at that. Every time the phone rings,
if Jordan calls him, he got to look at him losing.
He got to look at that. He got to look at that. So, like, that's what separates, really, to me, greatness is people who have that type of hyper focus on and going into the season with him. I'm not worried about the accolades being too big for Jalen Hurts. being a Super Bowl MVP. I'm not worried about him, being a Super Bowl champion. I know he's going to come in this season focused and locked in because he wants to go back and get that feeling again because he don't want that other feeling.
Mm-hmm. And you know what's funny about this? Like, even though in my mind, I think that that Jalen is going to approach this in the right way. I just think that there's going to come a time where he's going to once again be on that stage, and then he's going to show the world again. And I just have a feeling that I just don't want people to not appreciate what they're seeing because they're so busy trying to get clicks. But I know that they're morons, so I get that. So I know we're never going to fight that. So in the next segment, Marcus, I want to talk about the receipts. And the receipts is that him against the field, and y'all said he couldn't. Look at this graphic right here. What do you see in this graphic?
See a lot of positive check marks. That's what I see. All pro appearances, Super Bowl wins, Super Bowl MVPs. Not a lot of people that we got 2 Super Bowl appearances. And listen, I love Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow for me, besides like my favorite quarterback in the NFL to watch, that's not
you've always been a Joe Burrow guy. Yes.
Burrow guy through and through. That's my Tiger King. All right. I'm a Joe Burrow man. However, like I understand the accomplishments aren't there. And that's where it comes down. And look at Herbert. I mean, Daniels, listen, he's a rookie, okay? So like him not having this stuff, okay, fine. But Herbert, what is he? When was his rookie year? Was it 19 or was it 20?
I want to say 20. Let me look it up.
I gotta get in here and look at this because he's been around for, I feel, for at least 5 years.
Let's see. Justin Herbert he was drafted in 2020.
Perfect. Yeah. So he's going into his 5th year. It's half a decade. Half a decade with
2 coaches.
Yeah, 2 coaches, 2 playoff losses, and he has no signature moments. Like I'm talking regular season, playoffs. There's nothing I can close my eyes and when I think of Justin Herbert, like, oh yeah, that's his moment. That was the moment where I knew. It's not there. It's not there. And like, for me, I don't know. I think we're getting to the point now with him that I don't know that ever will be there. I don't know it will. And some people it's just not in the cards for, right? It's just not there for them to
Phillip Rivers.
That's not there for him to be that guy.
Marino.
And, yeah. Right. And honestly, you're throwing around 2 quarterbacks that are way more accomplished than Justin Herbert. They can hang their hats on the fact that they had an incredible career. Where Herbert right now, if he retired right now, like what are we really talking about? Like we're not talking about much, right? So I just think that people again have this like expectation of him and are hoping it pays off. And like, it's not I don't think it will. I just don't. I'm not seeing it.
Again, Justin Herbert, what pissed me off mostly, and I can't play the clip because I don't want to get this copyrighted. But when it was Dan Orlovsky, it was somebody, but I remember they were saying it, but I just couldn't figure out who said it. But somebody on the panel said that Howie Roseman would take any of the top 5 immediately and replace Jalen Hurts with them. Now with Patrick Mahomes, that's not fair. You're talking about a GOAT. You're talking about one of the greats. So, I mean, I get that. But this is my problem. And this is where context matters. And you and I, we're in this together. Like, we're in this. We're in Philadelphia. Not everybody can handle Philadelphia. Not everybody can handle winning by 40 and have WIP ripping you to shreds. Everybody can't handle winning by 30 and having you on a trade in a trade scenario for a defensive end that's 30 years old. Like everybody can't handle that. And he has to play with all of that and perform well and still know that it's never going to be good enough. Think about it. Look how Joe DeCamera and them talked about this man after the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl performance that he had. He was not on the top 11 list of Philadelphia athletes. on Joe DeCamera.
Yeah.
Like this is why I'm saying you can't just say put anybody because talent isn't everything. You got to put everything in totality. He is the perfect person. He has the perfect temperament for this organization, for this city. When and you know this, Lori has been kicking his ass for years because he didn't select who? Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is in his head. And when he saw Jalen Hurts, that's why he is so staunch on Jalen Hurts because he sees that.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to lose that ever again. Seattle was in good shape with they were in their best shape and they had their most fruitful seasons with Russell Wilson, and that's what Jeffrey Lurie and Harry Roseman sees in Jalen Hurts, and I cannot knock it. The only thing I will say is when it comes to Jalen Hurts versus Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts won't divide a locker room the way Russell Wilson did by just being himself. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not saying he did it because he's a bad person or he's annoying. Just being himself, it was something about Russell Wilson that bothered people. I know what it was. It was the fact that he wasn't like the rest of them, how they carried themselves. But
That
with Jalen, it's like the everybody you don't hear people saying, "Man, that I can't stand Jalen." You don't hear people going to the news and dropping secret quotes and stuff like they did with Carson.
yeah, that was the issue with Carson Wentz. Like he had the same issues where he kind of divided the locker room a little bit. So I totally get that point of Jalen. I think the comps, if you look when compare Russell Wilson and Jalen Hurts, two things I see right off the bat are obvious. I think obviously the mobility is one. The escapability, also the ability to maneuver around the pocket and escape. I think that's two, and three. They both throw two of the most gorgeous deep balls that you will see.
It's not even funny, and I'm not pausing on that. They
Yeah,
do throw some beautiful deep balls.
yeah, yeah. They really did it. They really, they really do. Like, I mean, they throw just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous deep balls. I mean, really, I mean, beautiful to watch. So, I think those are the comps. But like you said, the intangible stuff that Russell struggled with, Jalen Hurts won't struggle with and hasn't thus far.
Yeah. So I also want to talk about because you and I haven't talked since the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
So shut up, AJ. If you don't know Marques, my homie AJ, Seattle Seahawks fan till he dies. He loves Dangerous Russ Cook Russ. So
No, no,
he
no, Rusty.
yeah.
We got love.
But going into the Super Bowl, I ain't gonna lie to you. I felt so good, but I felt uneasy because as Eagles fans, we just need the game to get here. We
Yes.
just need to know it's all right. It's all right. Going into that Super Bowl, going into this past Super Bowl, tell me how did you feel and tell me about all the noise leading up to it. What made you think that I think Jalen is going to be locked in and I don't think it's going to be good for the Chiefs?
This is gonna sound revisionist now because we're eight,
Mm-hmm.
8 months removed from the Super Bowl, but I that was the most confident I have ever been going to a big game. And listen, I'm old enough to be here for some huge losses. I was a front row seat the McNabb era, all the championship losses, the loss to Tampa Bay, the Carolina loss at home, the Super Bowl loss to the Patriots, the loss to the Cardinals in 08.
Mm.
All those. I'm old enough to go back to the Randall Cunningham era. Like I remember gangrene and the torn ACL. Sixers, Ben Simmons in the past. I have seen horrific, horrific, horrific pain being in a Philadelphia market. I understand pain like most, unlike most. I was extremely confident headed in this for a couple of reasons. Number one, the Eagles now go when the season first started, it took a little bit for them to get going, right? It took about 3 or 4 games to get going. when they got going, it started to turn in and look like 22 again. And I didn't think we would get back to that feeling so quickly of how, like, looking around and be like, I don't know who's going to beat this team. And like for me, the game that really cemented that feeling for me was the Ravens win, going into Baltimore and beating them, and how easily they made it look. That was for
That
me.
was that was mine.
That was for me. I was like, this team's going to the Super Bowl. They're going to the Super Bowl. It's really that simple. They're going to the Super Bowl, and going after that and going forward, getting to that moment. I'm also watching the parallel of the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Chiefs to me looked like a team. You know, when you have the championship pedigree the Chiefs have, and when you've been there so much, and you've been to where they've been to the mountaintop, and they've won, and they've been in big moments, you just know how to win. You just
Mm-hmm.
know how to do it. So they were just getting by, to me, in my opinion, on just knowing how to finish and knowing how to finish and knowing how to get there. So I was really like, for me in the AFC Championship game, I wanted the Chiefs to win because I knew the Eagles wanted them again, and I knew that would be extra motivation for the Eagles because the Eagles felt like we had them in 22. We should have beaten them. This
Mm-hmm.
one should have beaten. We had them beaten. We didn't finish the job, and I know they looked at it, especially Jalen Hurts, looked at it like job not finished. We need to see them in the Super Bowl. So when it became the Super Bowl and became the Chiefs, I knew wholeheartedly this was gonna be belt to ass. I did
Mm-hmm.
not have any doubt in my mind that they were gonna beat the holy hell out of the Chiefs. I was very, very confident. And then, you go to that entrance, the Bradley Cooper, like it also turned out to be a home game, which is incredible. Like, I don't like people out there who follow sports. The Super Bowl is not like a normal
It's
sport.
very corporate.
It's a corporate atmosphere. It's where rich people go to show off and take their you know whoever their business associates are. That's what the Super Bowl generally is. It's just kind of it's almost like a networking opportunity. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like a huge golf event for the most.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen a Super Bowl get taken over like by a fan base. That GLES at the beginning gave me, like, when the Rock hit when he comes out,
Mm-hmm.
it
Goosebumps. Yeah.
type of goosebumps. At that point I was like, it is no way we lose this game. Now, did I expect them to come out there and obliterate them as fast as they did and just put it away immediately? No. But I said in the fourth quarter I knew I'd be comfortable. I knew
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it'd be over at halftime. I didn't think I'd be comfortable at halftime, but I was extremely confident for all of those reasons.
Um, I was I had two of my homies over, and I was just a nervous wreck because I wanted it so bad for them.
Yeah.
I wasn't nervous because I thought the Eagles were gonna get stomped. It was because I just wanted it.
Yeah.
So, um, man, and again, like I don't know how you could watch that Super Bowl performance by Jalen Hurts. Um, okay, Keish, I don't know how you can watch that performance by Jalen Hurts and not feel like, guys, we got one. We that feeling that the Chiefs have, that the Bills have, that the Bengals have, that the Ravens have when their team comes into a town where their team's playing the game, they feel like they got the baddest dude on the planet
Right.
behind center. That's how I feel. That's how Philadelphia fans feel. We feel like we got the baddest dude on the planet, and he showed us. We don't have to be like, well, can he? No, he does and did and will do again. And that leads me into what is your Jalen Hurts prediction? I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna tell you what mine is for next year. I know, people. I know Jalen Hurts doesn't care nothing about stats. He don't care about any of that. I know. But this is where I think that him and Sirianni is perfect simpatico. I think Sirianni wants this for Jalen. I think Sirianni wants Jalen to cook. And I think if anything, those last two games has showed, and they gave something to Sirianni that we gonna let him throw. I believe they're gonna take the air out of the ball. Saquon is still look. We 45 minutes into this show, 50 minutes into the show, and we just mentioned Saquon Barkley, who had one of the best running back seasons in the NFL, arguably one of the best free agents, could be the best free agent signing ever. But I believe I've always said that Jalen Hurts is a 20 to 25 a game thrower because he's going to get you big chunk plays. He doesn't need to be 45 to 50. But I think I'm looking at 25, 30 being his sweet spot. And I think those numbers are going to cook. I think we're going to get to 2022 Jalen, but it's going to start off a little bit better because he got that monster in the backfield. So now he knows that if those first 10 throws are off, the next 10 handoffs could be to Saquon, and I'm gonna be back cooking again. So for I think he's gonna be in the top 3 MVP voting. I just think that with Patrick, Lamar, and Josh, it's always going to be those 3 duking it out at the top, unless you have like a crazy transcendent, because they're just that uber talented. But I think I expect top 3 MVP with Jalen. I'm expecting at least, I would say, 27 touchdowns. And the tush push and the Russian TDs are going to be there. So I got him down for at least 27 touchdowns next year. I'm not even going to talk about interceptions because he takes care of the ball so well. And I think the Eagles are going to be, again, 13-14 game winners. And I think they're going to go back to back. That's just me. Call me biased. I don't give a shit. They're right here. Saquon. What is your prediction for Jalen next year?
One more thing about the Super Bowl I thought of as you were talking before I get into the Jalen thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another thing that early on in that game that gave me supreme confidence is if you looked into Patrick Mahomes' eyes and you looked into Travis Kelce eyes, because there was a lot of camera shots on them, they had that look like, oh shit, they are significantly better than us. Oh my God, we had no idea they were this good. They had like there's a I forget, I don't remember when in the game it was. I think it was pretty early on. But you see Travis Kelce sitting down on the bench, kind of looking at the camera, and the hair's a little disheveled, and he's kind of just looking up, just bewildered. And you can tell he has the look on his face like, man, we are not going to win this game. And Patrick Mahomes, after he got hit for the 13th time, it was one of those, wow, we're done. We're good. This is not going to happen.
That dagger.
Sure. But going forward and into prediction this year, for Jalen Hurts, I think a couple reasons why I think he's going to have a big year. I think number one, I think he does. I feel he's not going to come out here and say this, but yeah, he has that want to prove people wrong. Of course, he has that in him. Everyone has that in him. That I want to prove that I was wrong. So that's the obvious, low hanging fruit. I also think that it is going to be impossible for the Eagles to use Saquon Barkley the way they did this year. His usage rate cannot be this high. You're gonna have to back a little bit. So if you're bringing that back a little bit, then who Jalen Hurts? And I think that you got to keep the receivers happy. So I think there's got to be more throwing of the football. I think obviously when you get to the fourth quarter, you're going to see more Saquon obviously in those spots. But I do think you get more Jalen throwing. If that's what you're going to get, he's going to put up. I see him in the 25 to 28 pocket of throwing touchdowns, and then another 8 to 10 of rush touchdowns. So a total of like 35, 5-6 picks. I think he's going to go over 3,000 yards. I mean, I think he's going to be a guy that if the Eagles are playing well with our the number 1, number 2 seed, he's going to be in the MVP conversations. Now we get to the Super Bowl, that's where it gets tricky. It is really hard. I think honestly the hardest thing in sports is repeat champion. I think it's the hardest thing to do. I think it's harder than any other sport to go back to back in the NFL. That being, I think the door is wide open. I don't think the NFC is anything special. I think you know what you're getting out of the AFC. The Chiefs will be good. The Bills will be good. I think the Bengals will have a resurgence year. But if the Eagles can get, because, and also too with the NFL, the thing that makes it hard to repeat is we talk about the obvious teams, right? I just mentioned a bunch of the teams. Like in the NFC, you talk about the Packers, the Lions, blah, blah. There's always going to be that one or two teams in either conference that kind of comes out of nowhere that you didn't see coming,
Mm-hmm.
getting better that fast. So you got to account for those teams too. So repeating is hard, but it's not to me. Obviously, I want to win a Super Bowl. Of course, I do. It won't be a disappointment to me if the Eagles don't win a Super Bowl next year. I won't look at it as a bad year. I know how hard it is to repeat. Now, if they don't make the playoffs or make a deep playoff run, that to me is a failure. But if they
Mm-hmm.
can make a deep playoff run and they lose an NFC Championship game, or they get the Super Bowl and they lose, to me, that's still a success based off of how difficult it is to go back to back in the NFL.
Yeah. And I hear you, but it's just because Sirianni, Lori, Howie, the way everything works from the training staff to everything is just, if there's any franchise like Kansas City that's set up to go back to back, it will be the Philadelphia Eagles, because Howie's not going to sit on his hands.
Right.
Like, he's not going to do like Dombrowski and go bargain shopping. If there's a need, he's always crazy with the trades and everything else. He's never going to stand pat. So, and I just think they have the right young core, and they're youthful where it matters, and they're old enough and seasoned where it matters, but they're not old and decrepit, like where it's like, hey man, if one person fall apart, we're like done.
Right.
So yeah, I agree with you too. I agree with you on that, man. Yeah, it was just that list, man, and I had to get you in here because that list was just awful to me. When you put a 1-year wonder and two guys who can't get it done, and one guy that got traded for the one guy that got it done for Los Angeles, I'm like, there's no way you could put them in front of Jalen Hurts. And then poor Baker just chilling at number 10, and he like, well, while y'all argue about Jalen, I'm here at number 10. So ha. So I still don't know how Baker is 10, but again, that goes with the old, he was a former number 1 pick. I want to be right in my evaluation. I always knew he had it in him. I think that's what you got a little bit of. You got a little bit of that.
I can't believe I'm saying this because the last thing I want to do is talk about, Dak Prescott. But if you're going to put that spot anywhere, I take Dak Prescott over Baker Mayfield. Just saying.
For the sanctity of the pod, I can never say that I will put Dak Prescott in the top 10.
I don't. The fact that I saw Baker Mayfield's name there.
Look at his face. He even looks like he's not supposed to be there. He's like,
yeah, right.
He got, what he looks, what Baker looks like? Baker looks like the kid that got perfect attendance, but he missed 3 days.
Right.
But he still got it, so he like,
yeah.
Well, they ain't worried about it, so I ain't worried about it.
Right. Raise the hand all meekly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for real.
Exactly. But hey Marques, man, I appreciate you coming through, man. I really appreciate this. If you got anything that you want to plug and let people know what you're working on, here's your time.
Yeah, man, got a documentary that's completed that will be out next year. We will be in Sundance Film Festival in January. I'm super excited for the world to see it. It's gonna springboard a bunch of other documentary television projects I've been working on. That's kind of why I stepped away from podcasting. I've really been focused on that. So I'm excited to share it with everybody and show people what I've been doing the past couple years.
That's what's up. Can you talk anything about the documentary? A little bit, a taste, or?
Yeah, so it's the title is Catabasis, which is a take on Greek mythology about a fallen hero. It's actually on my first cousin, Anthony Wright, who was framed by the city of Philadelphia for a murder rape he didn't commit in 1991. He spent 25 years wrongfully in prison. He was exonerated by the Innocence Project in 2016. He's actually the only U.S. male to be cleared by DNA 2 years previous in 2014, but still be retried again in 2016. It's something I've been working on this now since 2018, um, with my team, and we're just really excited to bring it to the world. I think it's going to be, we hear about these stories all the time, and we hear about this stuff a lot, but I think we have something different to offer about the story and about the way we're telling the story, and just really excited for people to see it.
I am too, man. And please, when you start promoting the stuff, don't forget about the little people, man, because I think that is something that people need to learn about. Because relative to what people may think, DNA is still evolving. It's still relatively new. It's still people being exonerated to this day, being let out, getting large lawsuits, because back then it was like, we need a person, we need to find out who did it. We're getting community pressure, we're getting political pressure. Yeah, you did it.
Right.
Well, we found your fingernail, we found blood, we found this, and it is not the case. So that is very important, man. I'm proud of you, man. I love that you're working on that. And like I said, y'all make sure y'all support him when that comes out. I'm pretty sure he'll be back, and we'll talk about it a little more as it gets close to being released. Thank everybody for coming through. This has been Real Time with Prince Blue, emergency episode. Yes, we did a whole hour. It's my quarterback.
Yeah.
My quarterback. I wish I had the TO me. It's my quarterback. We had to talk about him, man. We Jalen, I know you ain't listening, but if you are listening, I know you don't listen, but I know you hear. You got people that's behind you, bruh. We know when I put up that picture, and I'm gonna put it up again. When we put up a picture like this, we know we got a great one. We know we're good. We know we're in good hands, because the knowledge, the mentality, the temperament, anything that you're soaking in from the greatest basketball player of all time, arguably the greatest athlete of all time, we know they ain't gonna do nothing but benefit you and benefit the team and benefit the organization. So we got you, Jalen. We're good. We're going to fight the good fight on Twitter. It's just the summertime, so we're not about to get revved up. But around training camp, we'll start revving back up, and we'll start answering these trolls and these clowns. I'll have more episodes of this. This has been Real Time with Prince Blue. You can find me on all platforms at Real Time with Prince Blue. You can find me at Real Prince Blue on all platforms. I appreciate y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow with Black and Blue Lives. We have a former police officer that's now an immigration attorney, and she's going to come on. She's going to break down the big, beautiful bill and immigration and ICE versus the Latino community. So check into that. We got Real Time with Prince Blue. I'm going to have my homie AJ on. I got a lot of videos that we going to go through. I'm going to be unhinged. So check that out. And then we got Trifecta Hour on Friday, our 100th episode. Make sure you check that out. So that's Trifecta Hour. That's Real Time Prince Blue. That's Black and Blue Lives. We got you covered throughout the week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I appreciate y'all. I am out. And as always, it's going to always be Go Birds, right, Marcus?
Always.
Of course. Peace.
Come through. Yeah, 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 yeah.